What's up, guys? Big Papa Drock back with another Raid Shadow Legends video, and as always, it is so good to see you. I just came back from TwitchCon yesterday, guys. Very different TwitchCon than normal. I don't know if you guys have ever been. This was my third one, but very relaxed. This one didn't seem like there were as many people there that I knew. I did get to see some friends, and I caught up with my work colleagues, which was great. But overall, was a much smaller event than it has been in years past. So I'm curious to see what happens with TwitchCon going forward. If you end up going to TwitchCon, let me know in the comments down below also what you thought of it. I'd love to hear that as well. Or if you've ever been to a TwitchCon in the past, let me know if that was a good experience for you. But today's video is not about TwitchCon. Today's video is about Ashnar, a champion that, frankly, I have been sleeping on for way too long, that I should have built a long time ago. And, you know, I don't really know why I didn't. I know he was very bad, then he got buffed, and now he is very good. And I know this because I faced him in Siege the last couple of times, and I was shocked at some of the damage that I saw being put out. And then also, if you look at Platinum Arena, I say with quotations here, technically we're in Platinum Arena, but it's not active right now when I'm recording. But you'll also see Ashnar in a lot of defense teams, especially with Galathier and with Taurus and Marichka. So we're going to test him out today, build him, see what he can do, and yeah, take him into arena and see how hard he can hit. So should be a lot of fun. So first and foremost, let's take a look at Ashnar's kit, as well as his reviews. Now, his reviews are still quite bad, as you can see, because Plarium doesn't reset reviews after a champion gets buffed. Something I wish that they would do, honestly, is when they buff a champion, reset the reviews and let the community weigh in on how good the champion is now. But let's take a look at the skills. He is a mythical, an orc mythical. And let's take a look here. The first form. Attacks one enemy 3 times in the A1. Each hit has a 50% chance of increasing the duration of all debuffs on the target by 1 turn. Each hit has a 100% chance to increase the duration of an HP burn debuff on the target by 1 turn instead, if the initial chance does not activate. Okay, sounds interesting. A triple hitter. Never a bad thing. You increase durations of debuffs, also cool. And yeah, you know, you're definitely increasing an HP burn debuff if you don't get the initial chance. So, I mean, not an incredible A1 by any stretch of the imagination, but not horrible. A2 attacks all enemies, instantly activates 1 tick of all HP burn debuffs on all enemies and allies. Whenever an HP burn debuff is activated on an enemy by this skill, decreases their resistance by 10, stacking up to 100. Whenever an HP burn debuff is acted on an ally by the skill, increases their resistance by 10, stacking up to 100. So decreases resistance, increases resistance, and then also fills the turn meters of all allies by 5% for each HP burn debuff activated on enemies. Okay, pretty cool. Not a bad AoE for the first form whatsoever. You activate some HP burns. You could pop some stone skin with that. You decrease a little resistance, increase resistance, and you get a little turn meter fill. So kind of like a Sulfurian Light. Pretty solid. Take a look at the A3. Places a 25% weaken debuff and an HP burn debuff on all enemies for 2 turns. Also places an HP burn debuff on all allies for 2 turns. This debuff cannot be blocked or resisted. Then fills the turn meters of all allies by 30%. Like, wait a second, we're placing HP burn on our allies? That doesn't make any sense until you get to the passive. But also, he has a really good turn meter fill. So you could use this champion legitimately as your speed booster in arena if you ever wanted to do that, which is pretty nuts. And then we've got the passive. Each HP burn debuff placed by this champion while in their base form increases their max HP and defense by 5%, stacking up to 25%, and it won't reset. That's very important. HP burn debuffs placed on allies heal them instead of damaging them. So you can see why this champion has become so popular to counter champions like Gizmak or Sulfurion, for example, because HP burn debuffs no longer hurt people, they then heal them. Allies deal 3% more damage for each active HP burn debuff. There are multiple champions in this team with a skill, only one will activate. So you also get additional damage too. Really not a bad kit in the first form whatsoever. Definitely an improvement over what they had before for sure. But the main damage form is actually his second form. So let's take a look at that. All right, looks pretty sick in the second form too. Definitely got some awesome fire going on here. On the A1, attacks one enemy 2 times, has a 25% chance of repeating each hit. Each hit also places a 60% decreased defense debuff for 2 turns. Nice. So you have a chance to repeat as well. So you could get multiple smacks out of this A1, which is pretty good. So this is a great A1. A2 attacks when enemy, applies a debuff spread effect, taking all debuffs from the target and placing them on all enemies, then repeats the attack on all enemies, increases the duration of all debuffs on all enemies by 1 turn. Both attacks will ignore 20% of each target's defense. So we're getting debuff spread, we're increasing debuff duration, we're ignoring defense. Honestly, it's an AoE plus an A1. Yeah, solid sounding ability for sure. Then the A3 attacks all enemies before attacking, places a 60% increased defense buff and a 30% increased crit damage buff on all allies for 2 turns, places a provoke debuff for 1 turn, places a provoke for 2 turns if it's a boss. This attack cannot be a weak hit when hitting enemies under HP burn debuff. That is so important. You can't weak hit as long as you got HP burn up there, and he doesn't have to be the one to place it. His damage is based on defense. He's a defense champion. So him self-buffing and buffing everybody else is also awesome as well. I mean, you read the kit, and the kit definitely sounds good, depending on multipliers, right? And you can use this guy in PvE content as well, for sure. Between the first form turn meter boost and this form's provoking, you could use this guy in Hydra for sure, especially because you get additional damage. Really solid kit and a very good buff overall in terms of what he was before. Let's read the passive. Each HP burn debuff placed by this champion's base form. Yeah, we already know about that. All of this champion's skills will ignore 20% of the enemy's defense if they are under a HP burn debuff. Oh, baby. So there you go. He's getting an additional 20% ignore defense if someone's under HP burn. That's awesome. And then again, HP burn debuffs placed on allies heal them instead of damaging them. So overall, kit-wise, pretty darn good. I'm really excited to actually get a chance to test him out. In terms of blessing, I went Lightning Cage. I think this makes the most sense. I've got him built in Stone Skin and Savage, which is an arena build. So Lightning Cage it is. You could go Polymorph if you have him 6-star. You could go, I think maybe even Nature's Wrath if you were using him in like PvE to get additional damage if you were going to use him for HP burns. I wonder if you could use something like Cracking Roots on him too. Probably wouldn't be the best. I think what makes the most sense to me is Lightning Cage, and then possibly something like maybe Heaven Cast if you need a little additional damage for buffs. But I think Lightning Cage is the way to go. So that's how I've gone. Take a look at the Masteries. Pretty standard stuff here. We've got Helm Smasher down here. I did go with Whirlwind of Death to give him some more speed. You could also go with Ruthless Ambush, get some more damage on the first hit. Cycle of Violence, of course. Kill Streak, Methodical, getting some more damage, and then defense over here, as well as counterattacking potentially when he loses HP. So pretty standard stuff, nothing crazy. I think this makes the most sense, but you could have a couple of variations depending on what you want to do, specifically with Ruthless Ambush. You could hypothetically go support if you were going to use him to place burns more often because he does need accuracy. But I do think he's better in other capacities. At least that's my belief. We'll see if it's true. In terms of the artifact, I've got a Cat's Gaze on him because he is not an HP-based champion. So should give him some additional ignore defense and also gives him additional defense, which helps his damage as well. So not bad. In terms of the gemstones, this is what I use on Onryo Iyasu. I didn't switch anything out, but really, technically the multi-hit skill can work for the A1, but we do get some more ignore defense after killing somebody, and then we do get a little more turn meter increase effects to make him faster. All right, so let's take a look at how we have him built. We've got him in Stone Skin and Savage, like I mentioned. I also have some reaction on him, which is never a bad thing. You can see the pieces here. Nothing super crazy insane. But I did try to build him as if I would use him in Arena going forward, because I do want to use him in Arena going forward because he's so good, or at least he has been so good against me. So you can see here, defense, crit damage. Again, nothing insane. I don't have the best Stone Skin over here, and I do have to ascend or do some of these ascensions on the gear itself, but overall, it's not bad. Not bad for sure. What does it all add up to? In the base form, we have 292 speed. That's really all we care about here for our purposes. But the second form is the damage dealing form. That's where we get the main stats. So we're looking at 7,400 defense, 282 speed, 355% crit damage, And then accuracy, I don't really care. I don't want accuracy on him. I don't want him getting sheep. So the less accuracy, the better for my intents and purposes. And almost 60k HP. So again, not like a tip-top incredible insane build, but he does need to be somewhat fast. He doesn't have to be as fast as other champions like Gizmac, who you're looking to potentially strip stuff like Stone Skin with, because he doesn't have that extra turn in that first form. Technically Gizmac doesn't either on the strip, but basically you're looking for him to be more of a damage dealer, since he's not really a stripper the way that some of these other champions are. So with all that being said, let's take him in to Dragon and see what he can do. As always, we're going into Dragon 23, Void Affinity. And let's see if we can find our boy. And we'll throw him in with a Lydia per usual. And let's also put a Gizmac in there to start, so he gets a little HP burn damage boost. And technically, we don't really need increased defense on him because he gives it to himself. So we'll just roll with these three for now and see what he can do. Slowly loading in. Okay. Let's see here. So we'll throw out all our fun stuff with our Lydia. I'm just going to go ahead and switch forms with Gizmac so we don't do any damage. And now let's take a look first and foremost. Let's start with the second form because I want to get the full value of his damage dealing abilities. So we're in the second form. Keep in mind, we get a 20% ignore defense increase because of these HP burn debuffs. So we should be hitting pretty hard in this form. We do want to use this ability first to place the increased defense buff. Let's go ahead and see what happens. 522, not bad. We'll take that. Not bad at all. Not insanely, incredibly amazing, but definitely not bad. Let's see what he does with the A1. Now, this is the A1 without the increased defense, but it does have a chance of placing a decreased defense. Let's just take a look. We got 3 hits there. I think it repeated once. But like what, 175k? Nothing incredible. Not the strongest thing I've seen, but nice that he gets a little boost. Let's do another test here. All right, again, same thing. Try it again. Increase defense. We'll switch over form-wise. And we go with the AoE. 508, 524. Yeah, so pretty consistent. Consistent damage there. Let's go again and try one of the different forms. Let's try his first form out now. Fills the turn meters, attacks on enemies. Let's just go straight to this. Let's give some little turn meter boost as well, but he's not going to get any increased damage since he didn't place these HP burn debuffs and he doesn't have a passive that gives him the ignore. All right. Yeah, so nothing special. Like you can definitely see his first form is not the damage dealing form. Surprise, surprise. Let's take Gizmac out though. Let's not do that. Okay, let's get 7,000 pop-ups. This is Raid Shadow Legends after all. Beautiful. All right, let's take Gizmac out. And this time, actually, technically, we didn't even try his A2. So let me go back in there. Let's put Gizmac back in there. Got ahead of myself here. All right, one more time in the second form. All right, here we go. Got to try the A2. Don't forget about the A2, Drock. Come on. All right, this is the debuff spread. Then it repeats the attacks. 339. Okay, yeah. So not like a super strong hitting AoE for the A2 by any stretch of the imagination, but definitely does pretty good damage to an individual target. I would imagine it repeats the attack on everybody. So that would be like 500k, somewhere in that neighborhood. Okay. Not phenomenal. I mean, you're definitely showing up more for the A3 than you are anything else. All right, we'll throw Sefi in here just so he doesn't have to buff if I use the A2 first. And speaking of, let's start with that. We'll start with the A2 in the second form. And again, what the does that do more damage? Hold on. What the hell? Am I crazy? Why did that do more damage? Now I want to see the A3. All right, he's going to self buff here. What? How did that do more damage? I guess maybe Helm Smasher triggered. Who knows? See the A3. Okay, the A3 definitely did less damage for sure. We were doing 500k potentially. I mean, we'll do it again just to test, but I'm just burning energy here, by the way. I know this has to hurt some of you. Let's open with the A3 this time. I love when you test something and it goes completely different than what you expect. All right, we're going to open with the A3. Yeah, so we definitely had a reduction in damage without the HP burn. You can see that there is a major decrease in the kind of damage that you do, without a doubt. One last time. So I just want to see that A2 again. All right, A2 one last time. Honestly, it's not bad. It's honestly not bad. I mean, that one, maybe that triggered Helm Smasher, I guess. All right. I mean, look, not bad. Obviously, you get more damage when you put an HP burn champion in there with them, like a Sulfurion or a Gizmac, but still not horrible. Let's take him into Arena. Let's see what he does. Now, again, we're in technically Platinum Arena, right? It's just not active, but we'll still get some of the high-end teams right now. So, you know what? Why not? Let's start with a nice. We've also got an Ashnar on this team, which is great. All right. Who are we going to throw in here? Ashnar. We'll throw in, I think, Gizmac, so we get the guaranteed burn. And then let's do, could use someone like Arbaeus, because of course she can burn with her second form potentially, though it would be very tough to get in front of your Ashnar if they're both fast enough. But we'll go ahead, we'll throw in Arbaeus here. And why don't we throw in someone like, could do something like Lazarius, just to try to make sure Stone Skin comes off, because mine has a Chronic Cube on. So let's try this out. Look at this. Okay. Can we burn down the Stone Skin? Nope. Well, it's going to be tricky. We don't have a double hit here to kill the nice. Technically, I guess we have this. Well, I wonder if this would work. This kill the nice, you one hit and then hit again. It does. Okay, that's kind of cool. I think we're about to get clapped here, but, you know, it's all in good fun. Yeah, that didn't work out so great. Let's try this again. We couldn't get the Stone Skin off, so it was a little tricky on that one. Let's try again, and this time let's roll with the true Stone Skin Destroyer, Marius. But we were fast enough with that gemstone to go before them, so let's try it now. Okay, we got a lot more Stone Skin off this time. Damn, dude, we didn't get that Stone Skin off either. Well, now we're just clapping them. Actually, I want to see No, we don't have HP burn now. That's the only downside here. We'll probably use Sulfurion, honestly. All right, well, Marius did most of the work here, so this wasn't really the kind of showcase that we were looking for. Let's throw Sulfurion on here. But hey, he can nuke. All right, hold on. Let's get another team. Husky's team, guaranteed going to be disgusting. Murichka kind of makes it hard to do that. Hassan's team, I'm sure, is insanely fast, one would expect. We put Gizmac back in here with the Sulfurion. I don't know how fast my Sulfurion is, though, so this will be a little tough. I don't think my Galathir is in Supersonic right now. We need a Speed Aura. I don't think my Shuzam will be fast enough, but let's try. This will probably backfire. Interesting. Okay. I thought it would. It did not. Surprised. Nice. Okay. Okay. And we get to go. Awesome. All right. Well, let's see what he can do. Perfect. We've got HP burn out there. This is fantastic. Now, I want to see if I hit with the A1. Is that enough? Do I get the double hit here to kill the Galathir? Oh, bro, how sick is that? Because I was able to trigger the passive. Wow, that's awesome. That's so cool. I love that. Badass. All right. What about a team like this? Now, there's block damage everywhere from the Marichka. We don't go through block damage. And there's a Taurus. This is really not the strategy here. We could do it without HP burn, of course. Let's see. And he's just going to nuke. This is actually good for us to see. Let's do that. Let's mirror this. Let's make this a mirror match. I never get to do this. So let's try this. Let's mirror match it. A lot of lightning cage. It's going to be all stone skin. I'll be faster, I'm sure. And let's just see what one of these defenses looks like. Husky's obviously a phenomenal player, and it's going to have a super strong defense. So we're in 2-turn stone skin over here. Don't really want to HP burn. Not really much to do right here. We're just going to kind of chill. We're about to get clapped hard. All right, he switches forms. All right, nuked. We survived the nuke, actually, which was surprising. Let's go ahead. Let's switch forms for us. Let's see how we nuke. Enough to kill the Galathir, but not, interestingly enough, not the Ashnar. Wow, I'm actually surprised we survived that. I guess it is because he is in 2-turn stone skin, right? Wasn't he? Yes, he was in 2-turn stone skin, so that makes more sense. Still, very slow. We're not really working at a good clip here. And he's still in stone skin, so it's more of an annoying defense than anything else, right? Magma shield, stone skin, very difficult to deal with this. Lightning cage, designed to be extremely slow. All right. Let's see what this does. Not enough, but he surprisingly lived it. Okay, got the Marichka. Should be able to finish everything else off now. Okay, we were able to beat the defense, but it took forever, of course. And so much of that has to do with what he's done here with all the stone skins. So great defense from Husky. I was surprised that we lived the Ashnar hit, though. I really thought that we would take more damage on that. But you can see that it's a very frustrating defense to face. Very slow, tanky, annoying. Let's see what else we got here. Where is a Gizmac? Let's look at a Gizmac team if we can here. Just so we can show off stopping Gizmac's burns. Can I find one? That's the question. Damn. Used to be tons of Gizmacs. Is everyone not throwing them out now because of our boy Ashnar? Or am I just missing them? Very possible. I'm gonna burn all my gems doing this. Nell. Wow. There we go. Okay. Even though it's a low level Gizmac, we're going to make it work. All right, let's take Sulfurion. Do we have? There was no. And we'll put a Gizmac on our side as well. I don't have a speed aura here, so I might be slower. Okay. Still managed to pull that off. Should have put a speed boost on him. That was a mistake. But his HP burns are all gone, of course. And this will be a clean wipe. There's... Oh, well. Yeah. He certainly will do enough damage there to take everybody out. Let's see if we can get a tankier Gizmac team. Tough. They are nowhere to be found. Ooh, here we go, though. This is good. Let's roll here. We got a Crixia. We'll throw our own Crixia in here so we can reset. And a nice. And it's also Panda's team, so you know it's going to be nasty. Try this. Well, that was unfortunate. That's a very fast Crixia. Look at that damage. My God. Jeez Louise. And we didn't get any of the stone skin off. Sheesh. Oh, no. He's resetting. Well, let's see here. I would imagine this will kill us from the Taurus alone, but let's find out. Do we have enough damage to kill the Marichka at least? Let's see. No HP burn, so no increased ignore defense. There's no way we're killing Taurus. And we don't have the weak hit avoidance versus Crixia, so we should get pretty screwed here. I actually did pretty damn good damage. I think if we'd had HP burn, that actually might have been something we could have survived. The Nice is going to clap us hard, though. There weren't enough people dead. So that's nice, at least. No pun intended. Let's just try the A1 here on the Taurus. Or actually, let's try on the Crixia. Yeah, weak hits. Weak hits galore. To be expected. That Taurus is nasty. Oh, we are cooked now. Damn, the nice Taurus combo is just disgusting. Let's try this. Let's switch forms and here, do that. And try to strip some buffs. Very nice work. All right, let's hit that. Oh man. Oh Lord. Ashnar is good, but this is a very tough defense, especially when you get outsped. Tough. No surprise. No surprise there. Let's try a little bit easier nice. One more easier nice here. What else can we strip with? Let's go back to Lazarius. Let's go over to the Gizmac. And let's try this. We've already polymorphed them. That's always nice. I don't mind doing that because we're completely fine. And let's just try to strip. Yes, we got the nice out there. Nice. A little lockout. I mean, this team is definitely not going to survive or shouldn't survive this. So let's try the A2 here. 1 hit, 2 hit, done. Okay, not bad. Not bad. I mean, look, he's definitely a good champion now. There's no, no ifs, ands, or buts about this. I think he is probably a better defense champion in some ways, unless you're facing a Gizmac team, so you can hypothetically just counteract some of their HP burn action. So we'll do that here. But major improvement over the buff that they originally, what he originally did. He was originally god awful. I mean, truly god awful. So they've done a phenomenal job in making him actually good. Let's do this. Technically, we're about to get clapped here. We don't have anything to go through the burns, but this is an Ashnar showcase, so we're trying to make this as specific as possible. Switch over. I'm not even going to clear the burns off just because they're not doing any damage to us right now, which is pretty sick, right? Now, we should kill the Commodus and the Crixie here, one would hope. Oh, didn't get the Crixie, we weak hit, unfortunately. Actually, because the A3 is the one that doesn't weak. No, hold on, she has an HP burn. Is that only, I guess maybe you only don't weak hit if it's his own burns then. Is that the case? That is frustrating if that's true. But it looks to be. I mean, how else would it be? It has to be true. Okay, we survived the Gizmac. Nice. Let me read this again. All the champions will 20% of enemies do there. Oh, ignore any HPD. Which skill is it? It's just the A3. Got it. Okay. It's A3. Forgot it wasn't the passive. All right. Well, that certainly didn't weak hit. And it was nice to know that you could get burned there and not be cooked. So you think about somebody like Volcanos, right? This would be a phenomenal counter to Volcanos, where you're just not worried about getting burned at all. See if we can find a Volcanos team here. One last team, if we can find one. Do you guys have an Ashnar, by the way? Let me know in the comments down below if you're rocking an Ashnar. I was so disappointed when I pulled my Ashnar. I was like very sad. And then of course they buffed him, and now he's actually good. Here we go, Volcanos, perfect. So here's a champion that should absolutely eat us alive without our good friend Ashnar. But now it shouldn't be that bad. And yeah, look, we're not taking any damage. The stone skin's still intact in spite of the burns. You love to see it. Now we're going to struggle here to do damage with Ashnar, but even just having Ashnar on the team, like you think about this, even just having Ashnar on the team lets you use something like a fast Gizmac here, where we can just switch forms right now. Everyone's burned up. right? And just start clapping cheeks. And now the biggest fear here is like obviously Carnage going crazy and cooking us, but still, let's keep him in this form. Wow. Yeah. You love to see that, man. Just completely negates Volcanos. Obviously, the one we're doing the damage here is Gizmac. Not everyone's going to have a Gizmac, but just that passive is so useful when you think about how many champions have HP burn. Done. Sick. So glad I built this guy finally. I can't believe I took so long. I mean, he's so useful with countering something that's so strong in arena now. So major champion worth building just for his ability. Like, even if you didn't build him as a damage dealer, just his ability to negate HP burns alone is so useful, especially when combined with other champions like Gizmac that can go through block damage, or maybe even someone like Polara. Like, you could do a Polara team. I know a lot of people don't like her, but a Polara with Sulfurion, throw an Ashnar in there, you know, that could work as well. So overall, I mean, definitely a solid buff. Like, went from a completely useless champion, one of the worst mythicals in the game, to being easily one of the best. Not because he's necessarily the absolute hardest hitting champion around. He isn't, but his utility is so good and he enables and counters so many other champions that you would see in arena. So this is an example of a buff that was very well done. Super glad I built him. I can't wait to get him a little bit faster, you know, get a little bit more speed on him with a 6-star soul. I think that will make him even better, where I can potentially take some speed off, put some more damage in there. But yeah, really solid buff and a great champion. Glad I finally tried him out. Um, just the absolute master of burns, right? Just controls them. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. Is this a champion that you have? Would you want to get him now if you pulled him from Mythical Shard? I would imagine we'll have a 2x Mythical event at some point in the near future. So would you be stoked if he popped up on your radar? But yeah, super solid champion, and really glad I finally built him. It's going to help me out so much in Siege and in PvP. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. As always, really appreciate the support, and like, subscribe, all that fun stuff if you enjoyed the video, and we'll be doing some more content soon. All right, catch y'all later. Big Papa Drock out.